Welcome back to Closet Culture. And today, now that we've got pretty much the time frame of like when Switch 2 news is going to be coming out and whatnot, and it's got an official reveal, I figured that today we just kind of go looking back at all of these leaks, these rumors, pretty much everything leading up to this reveal. Now, when I first heard about the Switch 2 rumors, it kind of started off as just very vague, just like kind of, these concept art stuff, UI. I know a lot of people were talking about UI, and people still are, because we don't know what the UI looks like. We've gotten vague, like, descriptions from some leakers, but we don't have anything official. So, concept art is still going to be out in the wild for a while until we get another look at the Switch 2. It was just kind of like that. There wasn't really anything crazy because I think we all knew that Nintendo was going to make some sort of successor to this console. And I think we all knew it was going to be Switch 2 or Super Nintendo Switch, whatever we were calling it back then, because it's a very good idea. Like, this whole concept of portable play mixed with, on TV or tabletop, it's really effective, and I think it especially opens up a lot of these different ideas for developers that want to create, either just these smaller games that would probably be better, on portable, or, these big games like Witcher 3 that, you'd probably want to play on TV, but you also get the added benefit of being able to play it portably. And now, you got this new console coming in that'll be like that, but more powerful, and it won't look like doo-doo. It was pretty much, alright, Switch 2. There's not gonna be like, okay, we're making the jump from, like, Super Nintendo to N64. We're not doing, like, a completely new thing. And you could argue, too, that basically every Nintendo console is just an evolution of the last thing. It's not really, like, its own thing. I mean, a GameCube is an evolution of the Nintendo 64. Wii is an evolution of the GameCube. I mean, that even goes with, like, the backwards compatibility between GameCube and Wii. Like, they're all kind of connected, even if they're not part of the same family of systems. Even if it wasn't going to be Switch 2, I think it would have been very derivative of the Switch. Like a spiritual successor. So that's what I'm trying to get at. But I mean, come on, this is like $1 million idea, $1 billion idea. So, like, I mean, why would you just give it up like that? Especially when you have a really big install base, probably the biggest install base on a Nintendo console, period. So it only made sense that that's where they were going. And then Nintendo made the official confirmation that the next Nintendo Switch was going to be revealed by the end of the fiscal year. And that's when things started kicking off. So month after month, a lot of people were, like, oh, when is this going to get revealed? A lot of people were thinking, like, at the latest December 2024. Sometime, or heck, even before that, like, before the holidays. Because, we started getting, like, Metroid Prime 4, and, there would be people that would probably be like, is that going to come out on Switch or Switch 2? People started making, just continuing making, like, concept art. There's one that I would always see everywhere on, like, every YouTube video talking about the Switch 2. I'll probably throw it up on the screen when I'm editing this video. But, like, stuff like that, with, like, oh, okay, so more powerful Switch. Because around this time, early on, we were hearing that the Switch 2, or whatever it was we were thinking it was, Switch successor, was going to be, like, pretty much about as powerful as a PlayStation 4. Pro? I'm not sure Pro, but PlayStation 4. And that seems kind of like a small jump, but it's a lot bigger than one would actually think, because, I mean, PlayStation 5 is just a very slight evolution of PlayStation 4. So it's actually a bigger deal than I think a lot of people that maybe aren't familiar with, all this, the more specific specs of, like, consoles and stuff might not think it's a big thing, but it actually is. And this is when more people started putting, with never, looking into what it could be, speculating, started focusing a lot on like the powerhouse part of it. And that's when, you'd get people saying, oh, this thing is gonna like run like 4K, like big open world like Mario or like Zelda or something. And that was one thing people have been hoping for since like, like right before the Switch OLED was announced, people were like, oh, is it gonna be like played in 4K? 4K support? No, not exactly. No 60 FPS, unfortunately. But I think people were really like, oh, we're kind of going in that direction with this next console. And yeah, for a while, it was just like, we don't know what this looks like, but we have an idea of what's going to happen. And also, too, we kind of already knew that, like, oh, it's going to be backwards compatible. We even got confirmation from Nintendo. Yeah, we knew everything, but we didn't see anything until like about a month, 2 ago? Several weeks ago. News started popping up about these other companies that were getting these models of the Switch 2. And prior to that, we were also hearing that patents were being filed like for the actual concept itself. And then this is where we got like the first official look at the Switch 2. This was the beginning of a really long journey where it was just, we didn't see anything official from Nintendo, but we just saw so much that it was like practically official. And now we know it is. But what I'm going to throw up on the screen, assuming I end up finding it, is they look like blueprints or like something like that you would put like when you're 3D printing something, like a file of some sort that just shows the general design, like architecture of the device. And it kind of looked a little strange, I think, to a lot of people because of Joy-Cons. Because you had a fatter, like, release button on the back, I believe. You had, like, it just looked like a bigger Joy-Con. And I don't think anyone really understood what it was. But I think what we kind of had figured out eventually is that there was going to be, like, a magnetic capability with these things where you would just put them in instead of sliding them on. And yeah, things really started kicking off, and that's when people were just everywhere just trying to look for stuff. And then this is when, boom, just things really went crazy, where these manufacturers that were designing, like, accessories for the console, they started doing, like, these little, just throwing stuff out there, just, what is this grip? Or what is this case designed for? Like, what kind of shape is it making? And then you see it as like, oh, this is not for like a regular Switch. This is a Switch 2. Then you've got Yooka-Laylee, the remake or remastered version of Yooka-Laylee that had a trailer, and it didn't say it was coming to Switch, but it said it was coming to a Nintendo console. So Yooka-Laylee, I believe, was the remaster. Sorry, I forget what it's called, but the remaster, that pretty much would have been like the first, like, official Switch 2 announcement, which is kind of crazy to think. But yeah, we're gonna get that. I'm assuming maybe it might be a launch title. We haven't really heard anything about it since, I don't believe. But anyways, going off of like accessories and everything, at the same time, people were kind of seeing like all the, like, those images I was just talking about earlier with the actual console, and people were making these mock-ups of them, like 3D printing, or like kind of just putting it together to kind of get a sense of the dimension. And then this is where there was this YouTuber who basically made their own mock-up. It was a bigger Switch, and I think that was like I think to me that was a little bit surprising. I mean, I guess it would have been obvious, but like I don't really ever think about that, like going bigger than this. Like, the Switch is already kind of big, but then now you're going like Steam Deck big, which I guess maybe it's not that crazy if something like the Steam Deck can be big and still be considered a portable device. So, yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense. But yeah, it just started really popping off, and then you're getting more. I think the influence, I guess, just that everyone was talking about it. Other manufacturers just kind of started like dropping stuff. Slowly, you started getting just these images of like the docks and everything. Like these little, they looked kind of weird. There was this one post that was going around circulating that had a dock and showed like what looked to be the side of the Switch 2, like this part right here, and it looked kind of funny because the background people were saying looked AI generated, and so people believed it was AI generated. Little do we know it was real. It was real. So probably just backgrounds might have been edited or something, or maybe it was maybe the whole pictures, all of them were real. But all we know is that, yeah, it was kind of getting too real to like deny that it wasn't legit. I mean, you're even getting like this one trailer that popped up online for like I believe it was a case that goes on the Switch 2. That was like basically the first official look at the Switch 2, because it like showed it in such like just not crunchy, not like blurry, like little camera like taking pictures while the camera's moving or something. Like it was just a very clear, like kind of clearish look at the Switch 2. Maybe like a little bit in shadows, but overall, like it was, yeah. I think this is when I think Nintendo might have probably picked up on everything, and they decided, okay, yeah, we're gonna have to reveal this. Maybe that was what they were thinking. But what I did hear reading online is that they were very upset. There was a former spokesperson fella or something that was talking about how Nintendo was really mad about the whole situation. I can understand that, because there was a lot that was circulating. I guess not really much left to talk about now. It's really not that difficult. It's just a lot of... You can kind of go down a whole rabbit hole with these Switch 2 leaks. I'm just kind of keeping it simple for myself because I've only seen so much. But overall, I think I'm fine with this. I think I've seen people say that like they kind of wish that, you know, none of this stuff was spoiled. That maybe Nintendo should have revealed it sooner, or maybe all these manufacturers and stuff just kept it under wraps. I mean, hey, there was even someone that apparently posted like they were actually getting into like the Switch, like actually the Switch 2. They were actually turning it on, and allegedly people have seen the UI, which is crazy to think. And yeah, I would be lying if I said like it wasn't like that, like it was surprising, because it kind of wasn't, because we already knew pretty much everything about it. But we did get Mario Kart 9 or 10, whatever we're calling it now. So that's kind of the only thing that I just took away from all this, is that, you know, it's like sometimes learning about things ahead of time isn't always the nicest thing, because then you're left with really no surprise. Doesn't mean the Switch 2 is gonna be bad, but this is probably one of the biggest like leak situations in a very long time when it comes to a console. But I guess that also shows how highly anticipated the Switch 2 is, because all these people are really going out of their way to like give us the closest that we can at an early, albeit unofficial, look at the console. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. It's just, I hope the next generation maybe we get like a little bit more under wraps, because to be fair, we didn't know that much about, I don't think we knew as much as we did prior to the announcement of the Switch 1. Like, I think it was a little more in the dark with this. Switch 2 though, like, no, we pretty much just knew everything already. I don't know how that happened, and I'm still excited for this console. But moving forward, I just hope that we get surprised next time. I do gotta wait though, because I want to actually see that direct in April to see if they're gonna announce any games, launch titles with this thing. You know, we got the new Mario Kart. Hopefully, we'll see more of that. Strangely enough, I was thinking about like what would be a good launch title, and maybe not do not do another 1-2 Switch game, but maybe do like this morning. I was thinking they could do another ARMS. I would think a new ARMS game would be a pretty good launch title for this, because I mean it came out pretty early on, but it wasn't like, it was accessible. It wasn't like something that I think you would ever have played or would have been expecting like later on in the Switch's lineup when they're doing more like these bigger games. I think ARMS right now is like small enough to where I think it could work as like an early launch title. Maybe Splatoon, but we'll have to see. So overall, yeah, I think the wait was, well, okay, I don't know if it was worth it, because I mean we still don't really know a whole lot. I guess we do know about Mario Kart now. So yeah, you know what? Yeah, it was worth it. So I'm probably gonna keep my old Switch because I've had it for a long time. But I cannot wait, guys. Cannot wait to get the Nintendo Switch 2. Alright, so that's it for today, guys. If y'all like this video, just leave a like, subscribe, blah blah blah. You know, the same YouTube shtick. Okay, well, I gotta go do homework. I'm done talking about the Switch today.